Here on this mosaic it says peace in the world. Our course is the right one. Red Arrow, the flagship train of the Soviet era. Tell me, are there many tourists here?
Not many right now.
No surprise it was named among the world's most beautiful stations. Here is Lenin. Is this where they finished off Rasputin?
No, further ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Here starts another new video. In the Moscow metro, as has become a tradition, I'm heading to Leningradsky station. Today, I'm going to St. Petersburg with my backpack for a couple of days to visit. But there's a special surprise that I'll show you now, the means of transportation we're taking. First of all, a brief look at the metro station where I am. Look at how beautiful it is. This is Komsomolskaya, the metro station dedicated to the communist youth, to the Komsomol. Look, like this one, we have the music teacher teaching the young communist how to play the violin. Or here, another teacher. I'm not sure if he's teaching geometry or geography to that girl. Here's another emblem with what seems to be another teacher and a boy with a dove of peace. And it says for peace. These are small details that you will see in the Moscow metro. You have to pay attention to them, but they won't leave you indifferent. Alright, we are now at Leningradsky station and there is train number 2, Moscow St. Petersburg 2355. Let's go. Here at the station we have Emperor Nikolai I, who was the one who opened it on the 13th, according to the Julian-Gregorian calendar of November 1851. The train line between St. Petersburg and Moscow in both directions. And the surprise I was telling you about earlier. It's none other than riding the train, possibly the most famous one from Soviet times. And still the most famous train in Russia today. The Red Arrow, here it is, living up to the name of the channel Red Walker, here it is. The Arrow. This is our car, I think, number 16. Let's take a look, let's walk through this magnificent train. Look how it looks. Look how organized the conductors are. They have their own uniforms. They're different from the ones worn by conductors on regular trains. And that's because we're about to board a train with a lot of history. Well, here are the first-class carriages, and there's the locomotive, and while I head back to my carriage, let me tell you a bit about the history of this Red Arrow, the flagship train of the Soviet era. It was on June 9th, 1931 when the first journey began. And it has been running continuously between both capitals, St. Petersburg and Moscow. Except for the 2 or 3 years during the blockade of Leningrad. Well, St. Petersburg, what is now St. Petersburg. In the 1960s, at the beginning of the 1960s, it took on this characteristic red color that we have today. It was one of the trains most used by Soviet personalities, for example, high-ranking party officials. Even Yuri Gagarin traveled a lot on this train. The ticket cost me about 6,000 rubles, a little less, 5,700. It's not first class, just something standard for about 60 euros, but it does include... Well, besides sheets and all that, I think it includes dinner or breakfast. And it also has a dining car. The Red Arrow earned an excellent reputation in Soviet times because of the dedication of its staff. And I'm telling you, it was the flagship train of that era. Almost a luxury, well, it has a first class, which is truly luxurious. Today we're traveling in the most economical class. Hello, may I ask something? Is there dinner or breakfast?
We're serving food now.
And breakfast tomorrow?
Yes, 1 hour before arrival. Your seat is number 18.
Thank you very much. Hello? Wow, look impressive. With little curtains and everything. The decoration, it's been here for 90 years. The red arrow. Let's see.
Проводника вашего вагона. Уважаемые пассажиры, вы можете
My name is Pavel, and I will be your carriage attendant. My compartment is at the end, and the bathroom is on the right. You can change the lighting on the control panel. To my left, you have the light panel, and you can also adjust the temperature. Your tickets include breakfast? There are blinis with meat, cottage cheese, and carrot pie, or an egg omelette.
For me omelette?
I'll have blinis with meat. And tea.
Do you want it in the morning?
Yes?
Black or green?
Black.
Sugar?
Yes.
How much?
1.
I wish you a good trip.
After we settle in a bit, I'll show you what the compartment looks like because it's full and I don't want to bother the other people, but I'll give you a quick overview. They give you a small box with some snacks like a fruit puree, a muesli energy bar, and water. And then also sheets, house slippers that are similar but those thin paper ones. And that's it, some of the passengers I'm sharing the cabin with have already gone to sleep. So I'm going to explore a bit and see what the rest of the train is like. I want to go to the dining car, of course, to have a drink. Hello, can I have something to eat?
Of course, please have a seat.
We're already in the dining car of the Red Arrow. They have all kinds of wines, and the prices aren't bad. I mean, they're not super high. And now let's think about what Yuri Gagarin would have had to drink on one of his trips. I imagine he would have had a beer, right? At some point, so let's go ahead and have a beer. A beer, please. A light one. A Zhiguli.
We don't have that. We have Jabovniki.
Is it also a light one?
Yes.
Well, that one, please. Here you go. Cheers. €3 for a beer on the train. Half a liter. That's not a bad price. So to go with the beer, I ordered a schnitzel, which I'm sure Yuri Gagarin would have ordered too. Here it is for 400 rubles, €4. A breaded chicken fillet with a bit of salad. And if you want, for €2 more, you can add potatoes. So I'm going to dig in. As always, cheers to your health. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tell me, are there a lot of tourists here?
Not many right now.
I mean, those who come especially to see this train, since it's so famous?
Yes, a lot of people come here for that.
That's fine, thank you. Damn. Good morning from St. Petersburg. Look, this is the compartment we traveled in. As you can see, 4 beds. These turn into beds. You can lift them up to put your suitcases and other things. This is where I slept. According to what I've read, they used to have linen and cotton sheets to sleep better, but well, I only slept 4 hours. Here you also have an area to leave your things. I would say it's more spacious, more comfortable than other Russian trains I've traveled on. A little bit more, you know, just enough to stand out. They gave me breakfast, scrambled eggs, which I put in this little box to eat later. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to sit down, have a coffee somewhere, and continue our walk around St. Petersburg.
Let's go.
One more thing to check off the list of Soviet things to do. Traveling on the Red Arrow train. These are the first-class cars. Take a look. If there are 24 seats in second class, here there are 16. Instead of a compartment for 4, they're for 2. And I think the price was 20 or 30 euros more, so around 100 euros. The experience has been really good, especially because of the historical aspect and everything surrounding this train. The first one was Fermini, which the Russians call Fermini Poest, which is, I don't know exactly what the translation is, but it's something like branded train, own train. Well, let's say it's a bit higher level than the rest of the trains. And this is the luxury car, 8 seats with the corrugated panel. After having a coffee and resting a bit, now we're going to take a walk around the St. Petersburg metro. I want to take a little tour of the stations that are known for being the most beautiful and that have nothing to envy from the Moscow metro. Alright, so let's see. To buy tickets here at the ticket booths. Hi, 124-hour ticket please. I'll pay by card.
Thank you.
I bought myself a ticket for the whole day because I plan to get on and off the metro several times, and it cost me 270 rubles. They give you a card, but one trip costs.
Here you have the price list. 70 rubles, which is 70 cents.
And it's really nice because, well, nice in the sense that it's retro, right? For those who feel nostalgic about Soviet times, because they give you a token, a kind of little coin. Unlike Moscow's metro, St. Petersburg's metro still uses tokens. Well, I have the card, but if you were to buy a single ticket, you would have to insert it. I'll show you now. You would have to insert it here. The little coin would go through there. Here we have Lenin in one of these artworks. Well, more than paintings, they're reliefs, of which there are many. The station is complete, it's spectacular. There, Lenin again. Come on, we're going to take the red line. Let's see, Aptobo, let's go there. Well, here it is, Aptobo. Look how spectacular it is. Look at the columns. No wonder it was named one of the most beautiful stations in the world. Here in this mosaic it says peace in the world, and below you can read our cause is just. We won 1941. 1945 and the Statue of Victory, raising a child. Aptobo Station was inaugurated in 1955 and it was where the first metro car of St. Petersburg arrived. It is decorated with motifs of the defense of Leningrad and the siege of Leningrad. That's why you'll see a lot of military themes here. And look, here in the center of the station we have all these motifs with the red stuff. And it reminds me of a sword, doesn't it? Of all the columns in the station, you'll see that some are simply covered in marble and others have reliefs with glass. Given how difficult this was, that's why the station is so impressive. What happened is that, well, from what I've read, they wanted to cover all of them this way, but Khrushchev said, hey, that's enough Baroque. And that's how they stayed. Look at these lamps, please. Each one of these lamps must weigh a ton and must be worth thousands of euros. Well, the station is full of them. Although I said earlier that Khrushchev stopped the decoration thing because he didn't want so much Baroque. Actually, the station is neoclassical in style, and the architects designed it to be a palace for the people. Here you have more war motifs that celebrate the victory. The sword, the star, the year 1945 marking the end of the conflict, the trumpets, the laurel wreaths, the sickle and hammer. All the details are very well taken care of. Not only is the platform beautiful, I'm already leaving the station and this is the exit. Well, just look at these lamps so you can see a bit of what it's like. I'm going outside to walk and see the station. Because, as I said, it's not just the platform that's beautiful. Many of these stations also have very beautiful entrances. And here, where the ticket offices are, well, listen to how this echoes. Here we have another relief with the victorious soldiers. Here on the dome you can read something like eternal glory, glory for all ages to the defenders of Leningrad who made it a heroic city.
And here you have what I was telling you about.
This is the entrance to the metro. It looks like a government building, but it's not. What are the metro entrances like in your city? It's like a separate building with its dome, its columns. It's incredible, beautiful. The next station I've come to is Kirovsky Zavod, which is named after the industrial plant that was dedicated to Kirov. We can see a lot of marble columns, 31 pairs, and they are decorated with high reliefs. They reflect the oil, coal, metallurgical, and electrification industries of the Soviet Union. During the construction of the station, at first they decided to put a bust of Kirov. But in the end, they decided to put one of Lenin, which you can find it here at the end of the platforms. Another detail in the dome is the emblem of the Kirov plant. It's right there. Kirov was a key figure during the revolution. He was the secretary of the city of Leningrad, and he is credited with bringing Azerbaijan and Georgia, especially Azerbaijan, into the Soviet Union. Another very curious thing about these Soviet metros is the durability and lifespan of these train cars. Just so you can see, I just got on one that was beat in 1976 and it's still running here. The third stop on this particular route through the St. Petersburg metro is Narvskaya. As you can see, these are also marble columns that extend along the platform. And in the reliefs, we can find different professions, as if it were an ode to work. In this station, the different professions that existed in Soviet times are exalted. As a curious fact about this Narvskaya station, at the end of the platform we have a wall made of fake marble. It was put up in 1961 after the 22nd Congress of the party, and it covers a mosaic of Stalin on the podium. At first, the station was going to be dedicated to Stalin, but in the end, they chose to highlight the value of work instead. Glory to work, that's the motto of this station. And at the entrance, we can see a relief with different workers, and that slogan. Finally, in this tour of the St. Petersburg metro, we have a station that was not built during Soviet times. But that doesn't make it any less important, because it's the deepest station in all of Russia. This station is almost 90 meters deep underground, and building it involved a lot of difficulties. In fact, they nicknamed it the Ghost Station because it took 14 years to finally open it to the public in 2011. And well, it's decorated with naval motifs in honor of the fleet of Pyotr the Great. And these are the escalators of the deepest metro. It takes 3 minutes and 14 seconds to go up. To continue with this little tour of St. Petersburg, I decided to come straight to the Yusupov Palace. Of course, it's raining. Well, not even raining anymore, it's hailing. Look, there was a huge downpour. Now it seems to have stopped a bit. I'm going to try to take shelter here. And this place is of great importance in Russian history. This is where the plan to get rid of Rasputin was organized and carried out. The Yusupovs were a noble family, very, very rich, very wealthy. Some historians even estimate that they had more money or more wealth than the Tsars themselves. Rasputin, with that prophetic aura he had, he already said that his death would be violent and warned that once they got rid of him, within 2 years, royalty would come to an end. The rule of the Tsars in Russia would come to an end.
And that's exactly what happened.
Is this correct? No? What, the audio? I played the audio on the phone.
Have you taken the audio guide?
I downloaded it on the phone.
Start at 51, around there, 52. Follow the route, go out again, over there, and then to the right.
Is this where Rasputin was killed?
This is the room where the children killed him later. Come in.
Go ahead, come back. Well, thank you. Rasputin, as many of you may know, was a mystic from Siberia who ended up having a lot of influence among the Tsars, especially with the Tsarina, because he was attributed with healing and prophetic powers. And the Tsarina became very fond of him, because, well, she fervently believed that he had the key to cure her hemophiliac son's illness. And this influence over the Tsarina echoed in his influence over the Tsar and therefore over the entire Russian Empire. Look at what the bathroom was like. Come on, we're talking about a bathroom from the late 19th century, early 20th century. And there to flush the toilet. That's cool. I haven't seen one like that before. There's not much mystery to it, but hey, that's how Russian nobility took care of their business. Look, what a safe... The nobles led by Yusupov were fed up with Rasputin and blamed him and his influence over the Tsarina for all the problems of the Russian royalty and nobility at that time. That's why they decided to end his life. And this exhibition, where I am now, which is worth about 500 rubles, goes through the halls and rooms of Rasputin's final moments. Look, what a room in the palace we can find. Marble with columns, the doors decorated with golden touches. It's incredible the wealth this family possessed. Isn't it curious how some of the subway stations we've seen before resemble these palaces? It's incredible how later Soviet architects specifically emulated this type of palace when building some of the subway stations. And here is the basement where Felix Yusupov ended his life. Well, he tried to end Rasputin's life because first they poisoned some pastries, but it didn't work. Rasputin spent hours singing and dancing, well, playing the guitar, according to the chronicles. And in the end, they decided to shoot him, and he survived that too. Until he finally ran into the street to escape, they shot him again and threw him into the frozen river.